not a lot of shooting at night. I'm not sure how this is actually going to show up with this camera. It's supposed to be really good, but time will tell. I'm racing right now to get to the border. In the United States, we're only allowed to drive for 11 hours and be on duty for 14. But in Canada, we're allowed to be on duty for 14 and drive for 13, and we don't require a half-hour break. And if you take 2 hours off in no less than 30-minute increments throughout your day, you can extend your day to 16 hours. So one of the benefits we have, and that I'm taking advantage of today, is I'm going to make it to the border before my 11 hours of driving is up, switch to my Canadian logbook, which will then give me 2 more hours of driving. So that's what I'm actually trying to do. I'm trying to get to the border. I got 79 miles up to the border in Lansdowne or Alexandria Bay in New York. And I'm basically manipulating the logbooks, right? I'm manipulating the logbooks. I only got to go 60 miles past the border to get to the yard. So I know I can do that in 2 hours. But I have to make it to the border before my 11 hours is up, right? If you're like a couple of miles short and you don't make it, you know, you're shutting down at the border or wherever you're shutting down, and that's where you're spending the night. So I've got 78 miles to the border, and I've got 1 hour and 39 minutes. So I should be okay. I should be able to make it up there with about 15 minutes to spare. Now, if I get up there and there's a lineup and I gotta sit there for 15, 20 minutes, again, that could jam me up a little bit, but it's learning how to manipulate the system, right? All I'm doing is I'm taking legal logbooks, but I'm manipulating them for my own use. Now in Canada, we only got to take an 8-hour break, like an 8-hour in the sleeper. But because I'm coming back down into the States tomorrow, I do need to take 10 hours off in Canada. But if, for example, say I was delivering in Montreal tomorrow, and then I was reloading in Montreal, and then I was going out to Michigan, I was probably only be staying in Canada. I wouldn't be going into the States all day tomorrow. I'd be spending the whole day tomorrow in Canada. I'd only take 8 hours off and then shut down tomorrow night and take my 10 hours off and then cross into the US. There's lots of little, you know, things that we can do. A lot of you guys in the States don't come into Canada or don't cross the border, so a lot of these you guys don't know or don't really apply to you because it doesn't make any difference. But these are the things that, the little games that we play. You know, the government lays out the rules. How the fuck you lay it out. I'm gonna find the loopholes and I'm gonna use every single rule to my advantage. And you know, being a cross-border driver, it's mandatory that you learn these. You know, mandatory that you learn these. Too many guys have lost time and loads and hours and days because they fucked up borders, taken violations because they don't know the rules in both countries. You know, if you're an American and you're coming into Canada and all you're doing is planning on coming into Canada, getting your offload the next morning, getting offloaded, and then reloading and coming back, stay on your US book. You know, stay on your US book. Unless, of course, you're at your 11-hour mark and you need the 2 hours, then flip over. Every E-log, as far as I know, has the option to switch over. Canadian, US back to Canadian, whatever. Because if you start flip-flopping back and forth and you don't know the rules, you can be on Canadian rules. And, you know, for example, here's another example I've seen guys do. they'll drive past their 11 hours, right? And they're legal in Canada, say they've been driving 12 hours. Then they cross the border, and as soon as they cross the border, they're in violation. Because in the US, you're only allowed to drive for 11. But as soon as you cross that border, the logbook automatically puts you in violation because you're now on a US clock. So if you're a US driver and you're coming into Canada, and all you're doing is coming in the next morning, or coming in, crossing the border like tonight, delivering in the morning, reloading, and then coming back out same day, stay on your US clock. Don't fuck around and flip them back and forth. Me, I flip them back and forth because I use them to my advantage, and I do this, you know, twice, sometimes 3 times a week. I'm popping back and forth, so that's just a little lesson in logbooks. You know, the differences between Canada and the US, and what we can do to take advantage of them, and how we take advantage of them. Like I said, I didn't write the rules, they wrote the rules. I just found all the loopholes, and, you know, I take advantage of them. So there you go, there's a free one for logbooks. I'm gonna be, like I said, now I'm down to 72 miles. So I should make it. I've got the truck cranked up a little bit here. I don't like to sacrifice fuel for time. I don't believe in that. But every once in a while, when you're talking about saving yourself, even if it's just a couple of minutes, then I do. If I was gonna come up a half an hour short, and you know, you can crank it up to 75 miles an hour and get there, I'm not sacrificing that kind of fuel for that kind of time. But I will crank it up a little bit and sacrifice a little bit of fuel if it's going to get me those minutes that I need. And in this case here, that's all I need. I just need to give myself a buffer of about 5 minutes. That's what I'm doing.
'Cause I'm a wheel-born baby, always burn down the road. Yeah, I'm a wheel-born baby, always burning down the road. I'm a wheel-born baby, yeah.